The table below represents the relationship between the length measured in meters and the same length measured in kilometers. We'll begin by completing the table. In order to complete the table, I'm going to look at the relationship between meters and kilometers. I notice that 1,000 meters is equivalent to 1 kilometer. So in order to make that true, I'm going to be multiplying by 1/1000th. And I do know that that is correct because 1,000 meters multiplied by 1/1000th give me 1 kilometer. And that's because I'm making groups of 1,000. I'm dividing by 1,000, or in this case, we're writing it as multiplying by 1/1000th. Now that I have the relationship, I will use it for each value in the table to find the number of kilometers. So 3,500 meters multiplied by 1/1000th gives me 3.5 or 3 5/10 kilometers. 500 multiplied by 1/1000th, that gives me 500 over 1,000 or 0.5 or 5/10 kilometers. Then we have 75 times 1/1000th. That gives me 0.075 or 75 1,000ths. 1 times 1,000 gives me 0.001 or 1/1000th. On the last line, we have the general form. So x times 1/1000th, that gives me x over 1,000, which I could also write as 0.001 times x, or 1/1000th x. Now that I have the general form, I can look at the question. It says to write an equation for converting the number of meters to kilometers. We're going to use x for the number of meters and y for the number of kilometers. So I'll start to build this equation here. I'll take a number of meters, x, multiply it by 0.01. That's what I did on all of the numbers, all of the pairs in this table. And when I do that, it gives me the number of kilometers, or y. So I'm starting to see how I can build an equation. If you chose the wrong answer of y equals 1x, or 1 times x, then I think that you got off somewhere in your division or your multiplication relationship. So I think you should have known that this wasn't quite right, because this would say that whatever value you put in for x, you multiply it by 1. When you multiply by 1, you get back the exact same thing. So I know that's not true when I look at the table, because it says 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. So even just right there, I know that it definitely shouldn't be with a value of 1, because when I put in 1,000 meters, I didn't get 1,000 kilometers. So I would know that this is definitely a wrong answer, because the table doesn't give me the same value for kilometers that I put in for meters. But I think what you probably did is you probably got confused somewhere along the line and forgot that you need to actually be using, a decimal form between 0 and 1 in order to be able to show that we're actually making groups of 1,000 in order to, answer the question correctly.